Man, I remember when lo-fi hip-hop was, like, just really starting to pop off, man. Like, it was around my college year, my freshman year of college, and, it was, like, everybody in the dorm halls, like, everybody I knew was listening to lo-fi. I mean, it was, like, super easy to read to, chill to, study to. I mean, that's what it says. At the times you had, like, Lo-Fi Girl, who was showing a lot of love to a lot of other creators, Steezy AF. And you had some of the pioneers of the genre, man. You had Tomppabeats, you had Evie, you had Jinsang, you had Naimano, just like 1-2, like you had a whole lot of just classic lo-fi hip-hop producers. But there was just one name that I feel rose above the others, and it's not to slight any of those other artists. But when you talk about like the pioneer, like the father of modern day lo-fi hip hop, like somebody who was there from the beginning, somebody who was moving the needle, like someone who was pushing the culture forward, giving away game in the community, there's only one name that I think of. And that name is Bsdu. Bsdu was born Matthew Wiesleisen, I believe. If I didn't get that right, please correct me. I promise I mean no harm. But no, he is a producer from Vancouver, Canada. Someone whose inspirations range from J Dilla, Madlib, MF Doom, Sam I Am, and a host of other producers. He's just someone who came in the game and had his own unique sound, man. Like, it was the first time I had really heard like this type of sound, man. It was nostalgic, it was vibey, it was aesthetic, but it still had like that boom bap kind of feel. But it was different though. I could tell there was something different about it. As far as the equipment that he was using, I do know for sure that he was part FL Gang. He was part FL Gang for sure. But also he did work with SP404 later down the line whenever he acquired it. Just that when I think of like the pioneer, like Bsdu is the only one that comes to my mind, and that's not a slight to like Tomppabeats or Jinsang or anybody else that you could name, but those, like, they're great artists and they got classics, you know what I mean? But I'm talking like Bsdu was like, I'm talking like late night bumps, man, like 2014. He had some tapes before that, I believe, Bsdu also was the admin of which is gone now, but the lo-fi .hip hop forum, which is one of them things, like, you just had to be there, like, kind of like, if you know, because like you cannot find that literally anywhere. Like, the site's been down for years, but I can't even find like screen caps or anything of it. But it was just cool. It was a big forum community. It was honestly like Discord before Discord. But I promise, like, some of your favorite like lo-fi artists were in there, talking music, talking gear, you know what I mean, and just like sharing beats and having beat battles and whatever. It was a great time. Damn, I really missed that time. Super nostalgic. It's crazy. When thinking of what makes a Bsdu beat, let's take the drums for example. Like, when you're making the drums for like a lo-fi kind of Bsdu type beat, you don't want to do too much, I know as producers we can get caught up kind of doing too much, but you got to remember, like, people are trying to chill, they're trying to study, trying to relax, and it's hard to do that when you got triplet kicks and 1/8 hi-hats just going crazy on the grid. So I think, like, keep your stuff pretty limited, you know what I mean? Like, I just do like a kick, a snare, hi-hat. If you want to do maybe like one more percussion, something to kind of give like a good vibe, yeah, but don't go too crazy. Like, I'm talking like a few kicks here and there, simple hi-hats, maybe play with the velocities just to kind of emulate like a real drummer's playing it, and just your snare on the 2 and the 4, something like this. Again, when you're making these beats, what do I always tell you? Texture, texture, texture. It's so important. Because when you're making these beats, you gotta remember people are trying to chill, relax, vibe out. You kind of want them to like fade into the world of the beat you made. So using textures is a great way to do that. You know what I mean? It helps suspend your disbelief. It's just like sound design in movies or like sound design in videos. That's why like it looks like there's a candle going on and it sounds like there's a candle going on, but there's not a candle at all. Um, but yeah, it's just to kind of get you in the vibe. So I use a little bit of rain noise, but you can use rain noise, tape hiss, vinyl crackle, like birds chirping, kids playing on the playground. Like there's so many, like I'm not even going through all of them. There's so many that you can do. Um, there's so many just different textures you can add to a beat to kind of give it that feel, that vibe. But yeah, so I decided to do a little bit of rain noise, and here's what I got. Another cool tool that lo-fi producers like Bsdu would use are vocals. And that can be a wide range of things from like vocal chops to like rap or R&B acapellas to dialogue. So like say it could be like dialogue from like a TV show, a movie, an anime, an animated series, a video game. Um, but basically just having like those voices kind of invoke some type of feeling of nostalgia. Um, for example, think about Teen Titans, right? Um, Remember the episode with Beast Boy and Terra? They're in the school, super sad scene. Basically, like I can't see you no more. Um, Already super sad, right? But then you add on top of that some super like a sad piano melody. You add some sad chords. You add some moody drums, some rain sounds, and now you're depressed. No, but yeah, it's crazy. So in this beat, I decided to use this dialogue I got from Taxi Driver. It is Robert De Niro, but here's what it sounds like.
I'm standing here. You make the move. You make the move. It's your move.
Yeah, and also to kind of give it like that real lo-fi feel, I basically just cut a lot of the lows out, and then I threw on kilohertz lossy plugin. And basically what that's doing is crushing the bit rate and filtering it, and also making it just sound like it's being played out of like a real terrible speaker or like a really bad receiver. That's a little hidden gem right there. It's a great look.
You talking to me?
But I do think jazz complements the aesthetic of lo-fi very well. It's really chill, you know what I mean? I think it goes well with the sparse kind of drums. It gives it the more avant-garde feeling. I just think like using jazz samples is usually the best option. Not to say you can't experiment with things like soul, funk, pop, other things, but I think jazz is really is best suited as a sample. You want to find a sample that already makes you feel like you're floating. You want to find something where you don't need to throw a million effects on it, but something where it's like, man, I'm vibing to this already. I can literally just hear a couple of drums on here and it's done. Of course, you might still want to do a little something, but you want to get something that you don't need too much work, something that has that vibe already. And so I found this sample and it makes me feel like I'm floating, and it's a vibe, and this is what I got. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I pitched it up a couple semitones, but it's just vibey. You know what I mean? I literally feel like I'm floating. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. Like all it needs is like a few drums and a little compression, and it's good to go. Basically. Like in terms of mixing, I kept everything pretty simple. When it came to the drums themselves, I didn't really do too much individually. I did make a drum bus where I just use Isolator, which is from Xenology, which again is an emulation of the Isolator on the SP404. Basically like a 3-band EQ where you can just adjust the mid, highs, and the lows. But basically I just cut a few of the highs, a few of the mids, and beefed up the lows a little bit. As far as the sample, I just threw a little. I just took out a little bit of the highs in the sample with a little EQ, and then I added Volf compressor for a little compression, but really I was adding it to do some side chaining. Basically, I just side chained the kick to the sample. That way, every time the kick hit, the sample duck. And it's cool pumping kind of sensation. I honestly feel like a lot of the magic really comes from the master. Basically, for the master, I just put on a little EQ and I just took out a little bit of the highs just to give it a little bit of warmth. The first compressor that I used was the glue compressor. It's the SSL compressor from Waves, and basically, again, I call it the glue compressor. It just makes everything in your mix really sit amongst each other, and really, I mean, it glues everything together. That's why they call it the glue compressor. But the Volf compressor here on the master was really to, I took out a couple dBs of input gain, and I boosted 2 dBs on the output gain. So basically, in theory, imagine like I had an SP44. Basically, what I'm doing is that incoming signal, I'm turning it down 2 dBs, but it's coming out of the SP44, and whatever compressors or whatever, like the sound of the gear, you're gonna get a little more of that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a little warmer. It's gonna be a little bit of a little like artifacts, a little artifacty. You know, it's gonna have the sound of that gear. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically what I was doing. And then I used the Lo-Fi compressor from Xenology, and that's really, as you can see, I'm just kind of going through a few of these settings. Not only does it give you some good compression, but it gives you the sounds of lo-fi. I feel like there's so many different lo-fi styles, like the different like bit rate like sounds and different like filter sounds, and so I'm just going through a couple of those, kind of trying to pick one. And then I did add just a little bit of Pro L just as a limiter, just to control those peaks and make sure I'm at a nice like balanced. I just want to have a nice balanced mix, you know what I mean? And yeah, so I just threw a little limiter on there. Nothing crazy, real simple. Also, I added Lifeline Expanse, basically just to give me a cool like rising effect, or a good transition effect from the beginning to the middle of the track. That way, it's kind of like a low cut, like a really strong, dramatic low cut. A little bit of reverb, and I think just like a little like tape noise or whatever, but it makes it sound vintage, you know what I mean? Then when it takes all the low end out, so when the low end comes back, it's like hidden, you know what I mean? So you can really like feel it. Yeah, I know. When you ask me who is the pioneer, who's the go to this lo-fi stuff, man, it's Bsdu, and it's no contest for me, man. Just from his influence on the game, like his countless hours of training and his classics on classics, bro. His influence on a whole generation of producers, man. Like, it's Bsdu. Easy. I remember being up in those lo-fi hip hop forums, bro, just learning and like seeing names that y'all see on Lo-Fi Girl and Steezy AF, bro. Like, they were just starting out and now they're certified. You know what I mean? And all thanks to Bsdu. Not to say, you know, he's the only one, because of course there's people like Tomppabeats and Jinsang, 1-2, you know, Evie. I know I'm missing a lot. There's so many legends, you know, but you want to talk about the legend? It's Bsdu, man. I mean, who else would it be? Like, just his influence, his constant grind, his work, his like multitude of projects, man. His influence over a whole generation of producers, man. From like the anime aesthetic, you know, to the way he titled his beats, you know, all using lowercase or like Japanese characters, bro. Like, it just, I'm sorry, I just can't. It can't be his greatness can't be denied, man. And I just don't hear enough people talking about him, man. I am going to show the man some love, which he deserves. Countless hours of grinding and working, his countless classic tapes, man. His aesthetic, like everybody started doing like anime like pictures and edits, and just like it just can't be understated, man. He's the GOAT to me. Just 100%, he's the GOAT. Yeah. Anyway, I hope y'all dug the video. You know, I hope you also like really dig like this new kind of aesthetic, this new format of videos. I just really like this style. It's me, it's unique, it's different, and I think I'm gonna keep doing videos like this. I really like it. So if you want to see another video like this, click this one right here or click that one. You already know who it is. It's your homie, JD Andre. Can't wait to see you next time. Peace.
Shitty.